Okay, Kingston. Now I'm here with your nervous system. Okay, in human beings, the chapter. So this was introduced in the beginning also. So in the introduction, I told you that this nervous system, it is divided into three main division. Okay, it consists of three main system here: the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, and the autonomic nervous system. Central nervous system, it is also known as CNS, peripheral PNS, and autonomic ANS. Today, I'm going to focus only on the central nervous system. So, under this, there are two main parts of your body. Okay, they are the brain and the spinal cord. First, let's just focus on brain. Brain, it is a highly developed organ. It is situated in the brain box, which is known as cranium. Okay, commonly we call it brain box, but its actual term, it is known as cranium, okay, of the skull. In an adult, you should know that the brain weighs about 1200 to 1400 grams. Okay, that means about approximately 2% of your body weight. It is covered on the outside by three membranes layers, okay, known as meninges. Okay, and these meninges, they are protective coverings of the brain that are three layered. It consists of three layers. Okay, the first one is the dura mater, which is made up of fibrous tissue. Okay, it is the outermost protective layer. Second, the middle one is the arachnoid. Okay, it is a delicate membrane. And the third one, the innermost, is a transparent, okay, highly vascular layer. Okay, and it is known as pia mater. In between, okay, there is a, in between these three layers, in the spaces, okay, there's a presence of watery fluid. Okay, and they also are present in between the meninges, brain cavities, or the brain cavities. It is, its main function is that it protects it from different kind of shocks. Okay, it acts as a cushion for the brain also. You should always remember that a brain, it consists of two things. Okay, first one is the white matter and the gray matter. Okay, so if you see a brain, you can see the outer portion. It is made up of gray matter. So gray matter, it is a collection of nerve cells or the cyton or the dendrites. Okay, and the inner portion, it is made up of white matter, which is made up of bundles of axons. Okay, each coated with a myelin sheet. Brain, it is divided in three main parts. Not main parts, I mean to say, it is divided in, a human brain is divisible into three main parts. Okay, first one is the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. Okay, so under the forebrain, okay, it is the interior region of the brain. It has falling parts. Please see there. Olfactory lobes. Then comes the cerebrum. Then Diencephalon. Okay. Then under midbrain consists of the mesencephalon. Then under hindbrain, cerebrum, pons, and medulla oblongata. So all these three parts, three division, we are going to study in detail. Here, This picture is to tell you or to show you this is the main part of the central nervous system. You can see the brain and the spinal cord attached to it. Okay, the pink and the red tail-like portion. Did you see? Pink is the brain and the red long tail-like structure, elongated part, that is the spinal cord. Now we are focusing only on brain. So you can see the three layers here. The meninges, okay, that protects your brain. See, the dura mater, the arachnoids, and the pia mater. This is what a brain actually looks like. So live, living brain, no? So this is what we have inside the skull. Okay, the largest portion. Then comes your largest portion is known as the, so out of, in the brain also there are three main important parts: the cerebrum, cerebellum, and the medulla oblongata. The largest portion, that is known as the cerebrum. Then comes the cerebellum, you can see just below that round portion, no? And that tube-like structure at the bottom, you can see that is oblongata, medulla oblongata. Okay, here it shows you the cross section, not cross section, transverse section of a brain. When you got it, you can see the gray matter and the white matter. The outer, it is grayish in color, so it is known as gray matter. It is made up of gray matter. Remember, what is it made up of? Gray matters. They are made up of, the gray matters, they are mainly made up of collection of nerve cells or the dendrites or the cytone. Whereas white matter, they are bundles of axons, okay, coated with myelin sheath. So the inner one, white matter, is made up of the axons, a bundle of axons, you can see there. Okay, now here it shows the three main division of your brain: forebrain, midbrain, and your hindbrain. Forebrain, it mainly process sensory informations, okay, helps in reasoning and problem solving, regulate uh, autonomic endocrine and motor functioning of your body. Then comes your midbrain. It helps to regulate the movement and process auditory and visual informations. Please do remember that. The hindbrain, it regulates the autonomic functions, okay, relays sensory information, coordinates movement, and also maintains balance, body balance and equilibrium. So these are the three main division of the brain: forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain. Okay, so under the forebrain, okay, it consists of three parts. I've already told you. So let's come, what are those parts? Okay, so first part, okay, so is the olfactory lobes. You can see there olfactory lobes that are present in your forebrain. Okay, so these are the area of the brain that are responsible for the process or the information about smelling sensation. Okay, so those bulbs are known as olfactory bulbs. Okay, these are the center of smell. Then second one you can see is the diencephalon. So diencephalon mainly consists of the pineal glands, pituitary glands, thalamus, and hypothalamus. Uh, it encloses a cavity called the third ventricle. Okay, this thalamus, it consists of two large ovoid masses. The hypothalamus, it is situated at the floor of the brain and helps in thermoregulation, heat regulation in your body. Thermo means heat, no? So regulation of the heat, temperature and all, it is controlled by the hypothalamus. So function of this, main function of it is it contains reflex centers for muscular as well as glandular activities. Okay, it also is a center of emotion, hunger, and thirst. It also helps in controlling the body temperature, thermoregulation, and also the water salt balance in your body, which is known as osmoregulation. Please remember this: osmoregulation and thermoregulation. Controlling of body temperature, thermoregulation, and the balancing of the water salt content in your body is known as osmoregulation. Now comes your cerebrum. Cerebrum, it is the main part of your forebrain. Please remember that. It is the largest and the most prominent part of your brain. Okay, it is divided into right and left hemisphere, known as the cerebral hemisphere. The two hemispheres are connected by a thick band of nerves called the corpus callosum. Okay, they are connected together with the help of corpus callosum, dividing it into two parts. This corpus callosum, okay, it helps in the transfer of informations or impulses from one hemisphere to the other. This hemisphere is hollow internally and its wall have two regions, the outer cortex and the inner medulla. The outer layer of the cerebrum is the cerebral cortex and the inner one, it is the medulla, cortex medulla, cerebral medulla. Okay, so this cortex, it contains cell bodies of neurons. Okay, and being grayish in color is called the gray matter, the outer portion. You know, no, it's shown you the gray matter and the white matter. Okay, that cortex. The cerebrum, it is highly convoluted with appearance with ridges and grooves. You can see, mountains and valleys like structures, ridges and grooves. Okay, so the ridges of the convolution is known as ridges, means the mountain, the peak region. Okay, so those are known as gyrus, or we call it gyri. Okay, gyrus is singular and plural gyres. And the depression form, okay, the valley form, okay, they are known as sulcus or sulci. The ridges and these grooves increase the surface area for more nerve cells. So these number of the patterns of this convolutions that are made by the grooves and the ridges in the cerebrum are associated with the degree of intelligence. Okay, so it is associated with the intelligences. The inner region of the cerebrum consists of the white matter that has only the axons of the nerve cells. So, along with this, you can see this the cerebrum, it has four lobes. Okay, it is divided into four lobes. You can see first one, it is known as the frontal lobe. Okay, it is responsible for speech and thinking, reasoning out and all. Then comes the temporal lobe. It is for auditory functions. Okay, and parental lobe, sensation, feel and sensation. And the fourth one is the occipital lobe, that is associated with uh, visions, seeing. Okay, so these are the four important lobes. This occipital, it receives and processes visual information. Then temporal lobe, auditory signals, actually hearing, processing of languages and the meaning of the words and all, it is all done by the temporal lobe. The parental lobe, it processes information about the touch, feeling, sensation, taste, pressure, pain, heat and cold. Okay, and the frontal lobe, obviously muscular activities and speech and thought processes are all done here. Okay, so hope you all are understanding. So this is the three important parts of the forebrain. Now comes your midbrain. So you can see which one is the midbrain there. See? Okay, midbrain, it is a thick wall structure. It constitutes a smaller portion of the brain. Okay, the midbrain or mesencephalon connects the anterior region of the brain to the posterior region. Okay, and therefore all the nerve fibers passes through this region. So it is connecting the anterior and the posterior part of the brain. Okay, so on the dorsal side of the midbrain lies the optic nerves, which controls vision. Dorsal means the outer portion, and the ventral means the inner portion. The dorsal side, the outside, it is connected with the optic lobes. Okay, it lies the optic lobes, which controls vision. Then comes the third part, that is the hindbrain. Okay, so under hindbrain there are three important parts: the cerebellum, pons, and the medulla. Cerebellum is situated at the dorsal region of the hindbrain. You can see dorsal, the low portion. No. Then the cerebrum is a smaller area and is located at the base under the cerebrum. There is no convolution ears, but many furrows are there. You can see convoluted ridges are not formed, but furrows are there in between. Yes or no? Gaps, small gaps. See, sections are created there. Yes or no? It has an outer cortex which is made up of gray matter and the inner section consisting of the white matter. Okay, so function of it, you all know, main function is body balance and controls muscular activities. Okay, it makes the body movement smooth, steady and coordinated. Yes, and also regulates and coordinates contractions of skeletal muscles. So this is all controlled by the cerebellum. It is also known as the little brain. Please do remember that. Okay, so the cerebellum, it has a great role in walking. Okay, so if a person's cerebrum gets damaged, he or she may not be able to walk. Such a person can learn to walk again, but with difficulties. Okay, so this is the reason why cerebellum is very, very important. Then comes the pons. It forms the part of the brain stem at the floor of the hindbrain. It is a bridge of transverse nerve tract, okay, extending from the cerebrum to the cerebellum. Okay, so it also connects the forebrain with the spinal cord. The last one is the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is the third main part of the hindbrain. It is the lowest part of the brain, okay, and located at the base of the skull. And it continues as a spinal cord in the posterior region. No, so this medulla oblongata, it continues as a spinal cord from its posterior region. Functions: medulla oblongata, it contains the vital reflex centers such as cardiac center. It controls all the cardiac movements, respiratory center, centers of swallowing, sneezing, coughing, vomiting. Okay, it controls the involuntary functions of your body like heartbeat, swallowing and breathing. Involuntary functions means that cannot be controlled by your will. No, like heartbeat can you control, swallowing, breathing cannot control. So all these functioning is controlled by the medulla oblongata. It acts as a center for all these functioning of your body. So this much for the brain. So these are the important things that you should know about the brains, okay, in your body. So now again in the next section we are going to do only about the spinal cord.